Hey, 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 everybody. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Queenie Brown, and today we are saying thank God it's Financial Freedom Fridays. I'm super excited to have you joining us today. Today we're going to continue our series on the 5 laws of gold. So we've talked about briefly. We're on lesson 4 today, or number 4 today. Number 1 was gold cometh gladly. Number 2 was how to employ your money. Number 3 was how to get money to cling to you. And then number 4 is where we're going today. And we're going to talk about how to keep your money from slipping away. I'm super excited to join the conversation. I'm your host, Queenie Brown. I am a certified master life and empowerment coach and an author. And I am joined by the KingsMan today, and we are welcoming Mr. Dwayne Taylor. He has 30 years as a health and fitness coach. He is the coach. We want to welcome you, Coach, today for joining us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me once again on another fabulous Financial Freedom Friday. It's
Yes,
always a
yes,
pleasure to
yes.
be here.
Yes, I'm glad to have you. And then we're going to also be joined by Mr. Donovan Yarbo. He's a previously a Series 7 and Series 63 stockbroker on the Wall Street. And he is currently Mr. Pay Yourself First. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Donovan.
Once again, it's a pleasure to be here. And yes, the Wall Street
The Wall Street.
licensed broker. So I was licensed to sell you a product, and now I am no longer a financial advisor. So that means that I can tell you the truth. Let's get
All
it
right
popping.
now, let's get it going. Okay, so we're talking about the 5 laws of gold, and I'm super excited to go a little bit deeper today. How to keep your money from slipping away. That's a great question. I was in the grocery store today and I was just kind of browsing through, and I haven't been to the grocery store in a minute because I've just been, we honestly stocked up a few weeks ago, and so I really didn't have a reason to go. And when I went into the store, I looked at a loaf of bread and it was almost $4. And so to me, that looks like my money slipping away. And that's just one
Mm.
of the ways, and I know that gas is low right now, but everything else is just climbing. And so I'm sure that we are on a roll and it's going to just continue to look like this because of where we are and what's happening with the dollar. But I'm glad we're going into this conversation today, guys. What you got to say about it?
I
Who's going to
yield to
jump
you
in
to start
first?
today, Mr. Taylor.
Over to me? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and serve this one first. Yeah. So we know that one of the ways that your money slips away from you is the silent thing called inflation. And most people, you hear that word, but most people really don't understand what inflation truly is. They'll say, yeah, prices are going up. But what does that really mean? What does it really mean that um, inflation is going up? It just means that the money supply is growing larger and larger and larger, and the goods and services have to match that, so their prices begin to absorb all of the printing of the money. It has to go somewhere. So all that printing of those Federal Reserve debt notes, all those Federal Reserve debt notes that, I'm gonna say one more time, that product called a Federal Reserve debt note
Or the dollar bill?
causes, oh yeah, is that what you call it? Yeah, the dollar bill. I'm sorry, yeah, the dollar bill. Um, Causes, products, goods, and service to go up. We have to realize just this year, the Federal Reserve magically printed, or not even printed, they magically put into a computer $3 trillion.
Mm.
3 trillion. Where did we get $3 trillion from? We were already $21 trillion in debt. So where did we get another $3 trillion from? Well, we got it from them just going onto their computers and going into their imaginary checkbook and writing a check to the Treasury Department saying, here's $3 trillion. But they actually have nothing to truly back those $3 trillion. So where does that go? That goes into our price, our goods, our services, and our products. And a lot of people really don't understand that the more paper currency that they print or that they create by digital numbers, we pay the price. We pay the price with our own sweat, our own blood, and our own tears. We have to now work harder and longer to pay for something that didn't cost that much yesterday. But
Mm-hmm.
why does it cost $1 more today? And that's because our money is being siphoned away from us through something called inflation. And there is a way you can protect yourself from inflation. That's by acquiring assets, having assets to protect you from something called inflation. That's just one of the ways. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Mr. Yarbrough, because I know he has a lot to say about this, because this is definitely his lane.
Thank you for that, Mr. Taylor. And that, that's something that we talked about pre-call, is that hidden tax, which is known as inflation, that most of us don't see. And it's funny that this law number 4 would start with gold, which we know is money. If you've been listening to us and hearing us, that's truth. We used to say, like, I remember saying something about, gold represents money. I think I said last week, and I want to make a quick correction. Gold doesn't represent money. It is money. Paper currency represents money. The Federal Reserve note is the representation, is the it's supposed to represent money, but knowing now that that the Federal Reserve Bank isn't federal, it's a privately owned bank, and there are no reserves, then you understand that it doesn't represent money. That's a whole nother topic. But the law number 4 says that gold slippeth away from the man who invested in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar, or which are not approved by those skilled in his keep. And again, I keep coming back to this because it's what most of the working class have been railroaded into, and that's a 401k. Gold slippeth away from a man who invests in a business or purpose with which he is not familiar. Most of us are not familiar with a 401k. We were just told that this is what you have to do. This is what's been presented to us, and we've just accepted it. Like sitting in front of sitting in front of a TV and being spoon-fed the news stories for the day. Here are the stories that we have prepared for you to stoke your emotions. These are the sound bites that we have clipped out and crafted together to produce a certain emotion from you, not what's the word I'm looking for? What a reporter should be. There shouldn't be a side that they're reporting from. It should be right down the middle, just reporting the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what a 401k is. It's not reporting the facts. It's telling you that, hey, this is your retirement plan now, and this is the best you can do. And most of us, we have a job, a career, a business, and that's what we're skilled in. So we don't think that we need to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth and the laws of gold. But that is precisely what we are working for.
Mm.
When I go to work, I don't work for the company. I work for this household that's represented by what you see behind me, but understand that there's a whole rest of the house that you don't get to see. There's my living room, there's my dining room, and most importantly, there's my wife. So when I go to work, I don't go to work for the company. I go to work to support the lifestyle that I want to live. And if I understood the laws that govern the building of wealth, understood the laws that govern the expansion and growing of money, and operated in them, then I would be able to separate myself from the need to trade my time for money. Again, when we say, thank God, it's Financial Freedom Fridays, instead of just, oh, thank God it's Friday, because that sentiment is saying, oh, thank God for the end of the work week. I can finally be free. Thank God it's Friday. I don't have to come in here tomorrow. That's what that's saying. So when we say, and title this show, most accurately done by Mrs. Queenie Brown, thank God it's Financial Freedom Friday, what we're saying is that we want to make every day that something that you give thanks for, because you're free from the rat race. That's what this is. Going to work to trade time for money is the rat race. So these 5 laws of gold that we're talking about will help free you from that, help give you your time back. There's this lovely kind of undertone or theme to every system that we use as the KingsMan Wealth and Investment Group. And it's about financing your freedom. We finance our house, we finance our car, we finance our lifestyle. but we want to change the mindset to finance our freedom. And if you understand that gold and money will slip away from you when you don't understand and you're not familiar, it will force you to become familiar and to get understanding. I think in the book of Proverbs, it says, in all thy getting, get understanding so you know how to operate. These laws of gold will help you operate in a way that is starting to build wealth, and the building of wealth leads you to the financial freedom that you truly desire. Over to you, Mrs. Queenie.
Wow. Um, you said a mouthful. There's something to be said about freedom, especially nowadays. You know, you look at what's happening in the world, you look at what's happening with the social system, with the government, with the jobs. There is something to be said for having freedom, and not just the freedom to be able to vote, but the freedom to have a choice of the type of food you can afford, because in a minute the food is going to be ridiculously expensive. The type of freedom you have to just travel and get away from places that you want to get away from if you need to. The freedom to just be able to protect your family in a way that's comfortable for you, and not be coming from a place of fear at all, but coming from a place of power. You know, there's something to be said for having freedom, and God gave us that freedom. And money should never be the thing that holds us back from being able to do and be who we've been created to be. So I'm thrilled about this conversation, you guys. So what's the next step? What's the next thing that keeps your money from slipping away?
There's quite a few things. I mean, one of the things that it says in The Richest Man in Babylon is not knowing where to, or having an opportunity to put your money somewhere, but you're not well versed in it. It's allowed to slip away. But you said something that I want to kind of get back on. And I think because it's really in my heart when we're talking about freedom and really catching a revelation on what those Federal Reserve debt notes are. And if people could truly understand that the Federal Reserve, the Treasury Department, they work hand in hand to keep us in bondage. The system that they created, the system that they designed, was designed to keep us enslaved. And when you bring that to the masses of people, most people don't want to hear it. We were having a meeting earlier today, and once again, we was talking about Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. On the left side, you have the employee and self-employed. That's where 95% of the people work, but they only maintain 5% of the wealth.
Mm.
Where the other side is the BNI side, that's only 5% of the people, but they hold 95% of the wealth. Why is that? And I'm going to tell you, to me, the main reason is a shift in perception. See, they're not afraid to talk about money. When you talk to people in the E&S side and you talk about money, you can get into literal fistfights about money. Money ain't everything. You don't need no money. You just need enough to just get by. And to me, that's the biggest crockett
Mm.
in the world. Once again, I always ask people, would you rather have not enough, just enough, or more than enough? You ask the average person that question, and they'll always say more than enough. Okay, so why, when an opportunity is presented to you, you say no, or you reject it, or you walk away from it? That's why money slips from you, because you're not learned in the way of how money is created. You're not learned in the way that systems create the money for wealthy people. That's why they hold 95% of the wealth. Why? Because they don't physically labor for it. They understand it's created by a system. So if they understand that they use a system to create it, why wouldn't we use a system to create it? That's why our money slips away, because we don't know the proper investments when they come along. When we're praying to God, oh God, help me. An opportunity comes. Oh, is that a scam? Opportunity comes. No, I don't want to do that. Opportunity comes. That looks like it's too much work. That's why your money slips away, because you're not learned in the ways of how money is created truly. So, we just have to, especially in these days and time, technology has truly changed the way that money can be made. We no longer have to physically go and labor for it. You can make money now with the click of a button. The click of a button, you can now create residual cash flow. But because people aren't learned in the ways of money, it slips away from them because they don't know how to use the systems that have been put in place to create that cash flow. So they have to work harder and harder and harder and more hours and get 2 jobs and get 3 jobs. And they think working 2 or 3 jobs is going to fix the problem. And it's not. You only have 24 hours in a day. So why not learn the systems, or why not learn the investments that you can properly use to take advantage of to make your money do what it's supposed to do, work for you instead of you working for it? Over to you, Mr. Yarbo.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor, man. Awesome, excellent soliloquy, man, of how simple, this understanding truly can be when you get it, and something that you touched on. I mean, when I tell you that The Richest Man in Babylon is truly my favorite book of all time, because it touches on every subject that you can speak of when it comes to wealth building, money making, making sure that your lifestyle is where you want it to be, where you're not constantly laboring. But you touched on what chapter 4 talks about, and that's Lady Luck. Some people would say that other folks are luckier than them, but it's not that that there's a level of luck that someone has, but it's being able to recognize opportunity. And when you recognize opportunity and you're prepared, there's a shirt that I had on earlier. Man, where did I put it? Maybe still on the back of this. But it says preparation plus opportunity equals success. When you've done the preparation and the opportunity presents itself, success is the byproduct. But most of us don't make the preparation. We're still going back and forth to work. We're earning a living, but we're not living a life. This is not the lifestyle we desire. This is the one that's been given to us. If we go back to, and I say go back to your childhood, man, do you realize your childhood never left you? That inner being that is present with you is still a child, but responsibilities took over. And now you say, well, I got to handle these responsibilities, so I got to be an adult. But the truth is, you still want to play in the rain. You still want to jump in puddles. You still want to blow bubbles. You still want to mess around with kittens and dogs and just roll around in the grass and have a good time and make snow angels. That never leaves. Maturity doesn't get rid of the childlike nature that we have, because that's who we are to our core. Is we are people that want to go sit at the table where one person is sitting at and go make friends with somebody, but we got obligations to take care of and other things that we're thinking about, so I can't go sit with this person. And now, I mean, literally COVID has people scared to stand next to other people. You're walking by, stopping, and you're scared. So it's trying to rob us of that true essence. But when I look at The Richest Man in Babylon and where we're at talking about these laws of gold, man, I'm reminded of chapter 2 when the richest man of Babylon is truly speaking, and he's speaking to his friends that said, you know what, man, here we are working hard, and we're in the most prosperous city in the world. Here we are, for most of us Americans, we're in the most prosperous country in the world, but yet 80-90% live below the poverty line if you truly drew the poverty line. We got people working dead-end jobs, making $10 an hour, and 50 people living in a roach-infested house. And you see them outside the house with the fancy shoes and the clothes that look good, but they go home to chaos and dirt and junk food. I mean, literally eating junk food and wondering why we're the most unhealthy country in the nation, because junk food is promoted. If you look at some of the, I don't know how I got on this, but I'm gonna go down this road. If you look at some of the multinational companies that deal with food and ingredients, and you look at the ingredients that they send overseas and the ingredients that they put in the same foods that they give us, No wonder why we're leading the world in obesity, leading the world in diabetes, leading the world in early onset dementia, things where people are losing their mind and losing their lives before their time. We should be in our 80s and 90s, still vibrant, still healthy, still physically virulent and capable of producing children. Women shouldn't be going through menopause at 50. That's a 60, 70-year-old thing. And not to put my family's business out on the street, but my mother-in-law is almost 70, still hasn't gone through menopause. Why? Because she's learned the laws that govern health and the body, and she's incorporated it. So the body isn't broken down. Literally, she's about to turn almost 70, and she can still reproduce and have children.
Wow. Wow.
If you look at biblical times, men and women were living to 700, 800 years. Why is that? Because it wasn't all this processing of food. They were eating from the earth. They were living off the earth. Their feet were connected and grounded to the earth.
Yes.
But we've gotten disconnected from that. And at 70, we're broken down, busted and disgusted and can't live. Number one, because we haven't learned the laws that govern wealth. So we live a life below the standard that the Creator set. That's what, thank God, it's Financial Freedom Fridays is for, ultimately, for us to establish that standard. Said if the standards be removed, or if the
Foundations
what is
be
that
removed.
scripture? If the
If
foundations be removed, how can the righteous live? So we got to reestablish the foundations, and the foundations for our life is based on money. In this physical world, you need to have money. You need to have the exchange. Yeah, I can have all the good intentions I want in the world, but Comcast is not going to give me internet because I have good intentions. I have to have something to exchange for them, and what they want is they want something of value, and that value is currently in Federal Reserve notes. So why not find a way, look for a system that works for you and puts the money to work for you so that your vibrancy and your life can be lived to the fullest in service to your fellow man, in service to your family and your children's children. You know, the scripture that says a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children isn't there just for, let's just worship and fall out over that. No, let's put it into action. That's what this life is about, is putting it into action so that you can live that free life. And what Arcad says in the book Richest Man in Babylon says, if you have not acquired more than a bare existence in the years since we were youths, it is because you either have failed to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth, or else you do not observe them. So what's your excuse? Have you not learned them? Well, here they are in the Richest Man in Babylon. Read them and apply them. If you've learned them, now apply them. The horse goes before the cart. The seed goes before the harvest. Don't worry about what will come if you just follow the laws. If you follow the rules that govern. See, when something is governed by another thing, it means that it has control, it has jurisdiction. So there are laws that govern the building of wealth. And if you follow them, guess what you will do? You will build wealth. But it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not overnight. It takes diligence. It takes commitment. But if you're committed to it, it will happen. Don't let your gold, your money slip away from you through ignorance, through allowing a system that was set up to take it from you. Again, reference Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money, number 4. It shows you the complete system and how it robs the everyday person without us being able to know it. But if we can recognize it, then we can make moves to subvert it and make sure that it doesn't happen to us. And then through a grassroots campaign, which is network marketing, which is Madam C.J. Walker, since you guys love your Black history, you love people that showed that you can overcome in any circumstance. She literally built the first distribution network, and it led to her being the first female millionaire, African American, Black in this society. Follow those same footsteps, and through grassroots, distribute the right way to not let your money slip away from you by getting into assets and systems that help you not become a freedom fighter, working for your freedom, but becoming a freedom engineer and building it. How do you, Mrs. Brown?
I'm so glad you used that Madam C.J. Walker analogy, because when you really think about it, she became the first millionaire, but she brought other women with her. She didn't do it by herself. They did it as a
She brought the
community.
village.
She brought the
She brought the
whole
village
village.
with
She brought the thunder, and they all rose together. So, as a
But we think
community,
that's a scam today. But that's a scam today.
well, it's a program, and we're working on that because
There you go.
we got to
That's
see it.
good.
Yeah, we got to see it as a program. We got to realize that a lot of, even in the Bible it says that in the end days, what's bad is going to be good, and what's good is going to be bad. And so when you're seeing things and you're automatically following the program and saying, "Up, I don't want to do that," or "Up, that's not good," double check, because there may be something right in it for you that's going to be life changing for both you and your legacy. So, wow, this has been rich. Do we have any final thoughts, guys, before we shut it down?
Yeah, I want to add something. Couple things that Mr. Yarbo said. Childlike. We're in a season now where it's trying to steal your wonder.
Speak on it.
Everything is trying to focus you on chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not focused on wonder, you're going to miss opportunities. Why? Because opportunities come when you wonder. Why? Because you begin to wonder about great things happening to you. Begin to wonder about what can truly be in your life. You begin to wonder, right? I was telling Mr. Yarbo this past week. I had the opportunity to see 3 spiders, each one create their web totally different. And I got to see one soon as while he was making, or while she was making her web, something caught it, and it was food for lunch right then. See, we all have a natural gift that will allow us to eat what we need. But we have to still build, right? She still has to build her web in order to catch her food. So we still need to build a system. We still need to build something. We still need to build our gifts in order to eat
That's so
from, right?
good.
Because that's the gift. That's what we've been given. Everybody has something in them that will create a web that will capture the wealth that they desire, that they truly desire. The second thing he mentioned was something called laws. What is a law? A law is an established principle that will work for anybody that gets involved with that law. There are laws to building wealth. If you just pause and stop for a second and stop looking at all the chaos on CNN and stop feeding off that mess and begin to pick up some different language, you'll learn different laws and different principles. And I want to end with this because he talked about wealth. And this is coming from the richest man in Babylon. And we was talking about our youth. In my youth, I looked about me and saw all the good things there were to bring happiness and contentment. And I realized that wealth increased the potency of all these. Wealth is a power. It didn't say it's the ultimate power. It says wealth is a power. With wealth, many things are possible. One may ornament the home with the richest of furnishings. One may sail distant seas. One may feast on the delicacies of far lands. One may buy the ornaments of the gold worker and the stone polisher. One may even build mighty temples for their gods. One may do all these things and many others in which there is delight for the senses and gratification for the soul. And when I realized all this, I decided to myself that I would claim my share of the good things of life. I would not be one of those who stand afar off, enviously watching others enjoy. I would not be content to clothe myself in the cheapest raiment that looked respectable. I would not be satisfied with the lot of a poor man. On the contrary, I would make myself a guest at this banquet of good things. Come on, man.
Man,
Come on.
man,
That's it for me. Like, make
decide
the
to,
choice. Decide.
yes,
Decide.
decide to claim your share of the goodness of life. I love it.
Decide.
Wow.
Don't be envious. Don't be jealous. When you see somebody being successful, congratulate, because when you hate that person, you hate yourself, because there's only you. You got to realize there is only you. When you look into this world and you see hate towards somebody, so all those,
Mm,
I ain't even gonna go there.
mm,
I'm not going there.
mm.
Yeah, over to you. I'm not even. I'm not gonna go there on that one.
Sir, when you read the words of George S. Clayson, ladies and gentlemen, understand that this book was written in 1929. You're talking about almost 100 years of wisdom that's been stored up. You know, let's put to bed the old adage that if you want to hide something from a black man, you put it in a book. Because this is put in a book, and these men are reading it out loud and living it.
Mm.
Now, are we walking in the manifested abundance of being the richest man in Babylon? No. But at that point, you just heard Mr. Taylor say he decided
Mm.
that he would have the good things in his life, not to be boastful or to be greedy or to hoard, but because it's a power. It's a power that one must have to sail the distant lands, to travel like you want to eat the delicacies that one may enjoy in different lands. That's the beauty of traveling. That's the beauty of living. Is that literally, you're not ordering food just to suffice your belly, but you may say, you know what, I want to try that. Not because I'm necessarily hungry, but because I want to see what it tastes like. I've seen people enjoy it, and I want to celebrate with them. I want to celebrate with us, and also be in position to put other people in position to gain wealth. What we are presenting to you now, what we invite you to, is a real money system. That is what we operate. Cash is not king, cash flow is. How can I say that? Because I can have cash. This is a Ulysses S. Grant, a $50 bill. I have it. This is not king because this only buys me so much and then it's gone. Cash flow, flowing in, not flowing out, is king. So we all have cash flow. We all have a job, a business, or something that provides income for us. Now, what we do with that determines whether we are operating in the laws of gold or not. And in our real money systems that we use, we take the cash flow and we convert it. Everyone converts it. Most people just convert it to expenses, though. That's financing lifestyle, paying for the car, paying for the house, paying for the clothes, paying for the food. So then you have to return back to your source of cash flow to get again pay for those things. But what we do with Carrot Bars International, and you see my shirt, we tried to tell you, and we're going to continue to tell you, which is a gold-based asset acquisition program, and also a company called Quicksilver, which is a silver-based asset acquisition program. Two precious metal assets is we convert the first part of our income, pay yourself first, following the law of gold number one, which says that gold cometh, gold cometh. Ah, I love that. Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man or woman who will put not less than 1/10 of his earnings, cash flow, to create an estate for his future and that of his family. And here's the thing, in this world, if you don't do that first, you won't have enough to do it last. That's why you have to do that part first and then live off the 90%. So when you put that 10% and convert it into an asset, those assets increase in value, which has happened in the year 2020. Look at gold and look at silver in the manipulated market. This is not the physical market. This is still a paper market. That's a whole nother segment. But in the manipulated paper market, silver has increased over 50% on the year. Double, no, 100% doubled. Went from a low of about $12 per ounce to a high of just under $30 an ounce, and now hovering around somewhere of $27 an ounce. Gold hit its all-time high in US dollars. In other currency, the Turkish lira, the Argentinian peso, even in the euro, gold hit its all-time highs before eventually doing that in the US dollar, over $2,000 an ounce for the first time in history. This tells you that something is shifting. Move with the shift. By acquiring those assets, we increase our net worth and put more wealth in our pocket. And then we incorporate leverage by doing what? Simply sharing with other people how to secure a portion of their income into assets, which are financial insurance. Do you have car insurance? Yes, because they made it a law. Do you have health insurance? Yes, because they made it a law, and some of us get it on from our employer. Do most of us have life insurance? No, but we're told and reminded constantly to get life insurance, to get insurance. Well, I'm telling you to get financial insurance and acquire gold and silver in abundance and share with others how to do the same. And that creates an additional cash flow that will help free you from the rat race faster than just simply going back and forth to that 9 to 5 ever can. Why? Because the 9 to 5 was never designed to free you from the rat race. It was designed, matter of everything in life right now, school system, what your parents taught you, most of us, the majority, was taught to keep you in that rat race. Find a good career. Go to school and get a good education so that you can stay in this rat race and provide for your family, as opposed to freeing your family and creating an estate for your children's children. That is all we do, ladies and gentlemen. We don't spend money. We keep our money. And through the process of keeping our money, through the systems that we use, it creates cash flow. This day and age of technology and information, we literally are making money at the click of buttons on a website. Get with us. Don't be skeptical. Don't be like Dwayne said, reading in The Richest Man in Babylon. Don't stand afar off, skeptical and scared. Get in the money game. Let it work for you and see over time how it ushers you, as it is doing us, into the realm of financial freedom. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you for your time. I love you. Take action. Don't be a forgetful hearer. Look into the mirror of the word that you just heard. You saw yourself. That's why you're still on this stream, and take action. Thank you, Mrs. Brown, for another wonderful hosted. Thank God it's Financial Freedom Fridays. Over to you.
Drop the mic. Whoa. So y'all heard it. I'm so thrilled. Donovan, that was eloquent, beyond eloquent. You have made it completely clear. And thank you so much for breaking it down. For those of you who have any, who are ready to take the next step, we are offering you an opportunity to create your own free account. Free. That means you can begin to start saving your money in the form of an asset. And translating, and I might not say this the way the guys do, but taking your dollars and exchanging them for gold for free, and taking the first 10% of your money every month and paying yourself first to secure it. So we're going to create that account for you, or you're going to create it for yourself. You'll be able to click on a link in the comments and start your account today. I'm super excited that you took the time to join us today. Thank God it's Financial Freedom Fridays. We are growing together as a family. We are thrilled to have you on the journey with us. And we will see you all again next week. Next week, make sure you bring a friend. Invite someone to join you on this journey with us. We're going to all rise together. All right, guys. Thanks again for your wisdom, for your time, for your love. And I'll see y'all next week.
It's always a pleasure.
Always.
Have a wonderful evening, family. Love.
Be blessed.